Good morning. Welcome back to Near Post Flick On. Looks like Paul Pogba will be joining Monaco. So, Paul Pogba looks like he's making headlines once again. Of course, Pogba, who was banned for 18 months from football after testing positively for the DHEA substance. So yeah, he served his ban. I think it was longer than that. I think he may have been sent given a 4 year ban, but I think he appealed it and then they reduced it to 18 months. And those 18 months elapsed in March 2025, so March this year. So it was just a matter of time before he made his comeback. Now, a lot of people may have felt that that he doesn't have anything to offer the game, being that he's age 32, and they may think he's washed or he's over the hill and he may not have anything else to offer football. But I think that's not strictly accurate. I think he's still got a lot to offer the game. I think he's a mountain of talent, and if he gets it right, that will be a great addition for Monaco. And yeah, it looks like he's set to sign for Monaco. And I can't wait to see Pogba back in competitive football. But I just hope that he gets his act together, and I hope that he focuses on football because he's a great watch. He's fantastic. Paul Pogba is fantastic, but I just think he lets the noise and the distraction get the best of him at times. But if he can kind of just focus and just switch on, I think he's still got a lot to offer the game. So I think he last played his competitive game for Juventus back in September 2023. So it's been a while in football terms. It's been a while, but hopefully he can pass that medical and he can basically come back to the game that he loves. And there are people out there rooting for him. I know he's got his haters and people and his naysayers, but it's up to him to prove them wrong. It's up to him to prove them wrong. And the only way you can prove people wrong is by performing on the pitch and giving the best that you can. So I, for one, I'm a fan of Pogba's because I think he's an immense talent. I think he's a great passer of the ball and he can strike the ball like no other. I think he's still got plenty to offer the game. I mean, if you look at someone like Ronaldo, of course, Ronaldo, we know about his strict regimen and how he kind of approaches the game and his mentality is like just out of this world. But Ronaldo's 40 odd and he's still playing. So I think Pogba can take that approach. He can look at that as a standard and maybe focus on the football and let the football do the talking. Because at 32, I don't think it's quite finished yet. I think he's still got a lot to offer the game. And I think, you know what? I think he probably will surprise a lot of people. I think he will surprise a lot of people when he does come back to the game and gives it his best shot. So we'll see what happens when he does officially sign for Monaco. So as far as I'm aware, I think he's on a 2 year contract. So that's not bad. 2 year contract takes him up to the age of 34, and I'm sure he's receiving a lovely bit of wage as well to go with his efforts. So it will be very interesting to see how Pogba gets on at Monaco. Of course, Pogba, before he went to United, I think Pogba was balling out. I thought he was amazing at Juventus, and I thought he was, his career at that point was on an upward trajectory. And I think he was playing amazing football. I think one of the choices that he made that probably hindered him was going to Manchester United. I think that was the wrong choice for Pogba. Maybe he could have maybe stayed out of the Premier League or gone to looking at maybe a Manchester City or someone like that can kind of elevate his game. But he went to a Manchester United team that really couldn't elevate his game. And if you compare that team to the Juventus team, he had great players around him at Juventus. And when he went to Man United, I don't think he had that type of quality. And if you look at him in the France team as well, he's got great players around him that can kind of elevate his team. So I think him going to Manchester United in 2016 kind of hindered him a little bit. And he had, it was a disaster of a signing, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. It was a disaster of a signing. Pogba going to Manchester United for both the player and the club because they just couldn't gel. And of course, we know he had those troubles with Mourinho as well, and it was well documented. And all these other antics that the media were picking up on, and yeah, it just didn't work, did it? It didn't work. There was no camaraderie between the player and the club. I don't think, and I just felt that kind of affected him. All with that being said, he still went on to win a World Cup with France, which is quite funny, really. So it just shows you that, when he's playing with great players, or when he's playing in a team whereby he's focused and he's allowed to get on with the game and just focus on playing football, he's proven time and time and time again that he can absolutely deliver. Make no doubts about it. Pogba is talented. He does have talent, and he has qualities that a team like Monaco can benefit from. And him being 32, age is not a factor for Pogba. I don't think. I don't think he's slowing down. Age is not a factor. I think he just it's more of a mental thing. I think if he can just focus on playing football, he will be an absolute monster. He will dominate and he will be back to his best. But he's just got to forget about the noise and just focus on playing football. And I think at Monaco, being away from a major league, if you like the Premier League, I think it will probably benefit him a lot. And again, surprisingly, he's never played in League One, never played in League One. So it's almost like new, uncharted waters for him, if you like. So it's almost like a new beginning. So I think he will achieve. I think he'll achieve. I think if he could just focus on playing football, I think he'll do very well. He will definitely do very well. And I think as well, if I'm not mistaken, I think Deschamps, the France manager, has also said to him that if you can play well, if you can deliver in this season, there's a window, a glimmer of opportunity for him to be included in the France World Cup squad next year. And how amazing would that be? What a turnaround that would be, from being banned, from having one of your worst careers at Man United, and then to turn that around and then helping France, progress in the World Cup. That would be an amazing story. So I'm definitely rooting for Pogba. I think he's an amazing talent. I think he just needs to focus, and he needs to just play the best that he can and perform. And I think he'll do well. I think he'll do well. So yeah, we'll wait and see how that goes. Hopefully the medical's fine, because obviously he's been out of football for a while, but hopefully he passes the medical and they can announce it and make it official. But for now, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.